Hello and welcome back to Federal Flash. I'm Philip Lovell and I'm joined by Nikki McKinney. Next week, Congress leaves town for its spring break. And like many students facing upcoming midterm exams, the House and Senate have a midterm of their own. They must pass the bill to fund the federal government for the remaining 5 months of the fiscal year. Current funding expires on April 28th, and the stakes are particularly high since House Republicans couldn't deliver on their campaign promise to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. This week, President Trump made their job just a little bit more difficult. For that, we'll turn to Nikki.
Thanks, Philip. Last Friday, President Trump sent Congress a list of possible cuts to the education budget that would go into effect this coming school year. These cuts are in addition to the 13.5% cut he proposed for next year, which we discussed in the last episode of Federal Flash. For this year, he's proposing $3 billion in cuts to the Department of Education. It's unusual for a president to propose cuts this late in the process, and since a lot of work has been done on the legislation, we don't think his proposal will have much of an impact on the coming school year. Representative Tom Cole, a Republican from Oklahoma who chairs the House subcommittee that funds the Department of Education, said, quote, "It's a little late in the process. We've closed out our bills. No entering administration should be negotiating the budget for the year it's in because they don't have the people there to do it in order to make intelligent decisions and even recommendations," end quote. While the president's proposal for more cuts will hopefully have little impact next school year, it definitely demonstrates where his priorities are, or more to the point, it shows what's not a priority for him.
Thanks, Nikki. It looks like Congress is helping out on the budget, at least for now. On other matters, not so much. In fact, it looks like the Education Accountability Regulation isn't the only good idea being rescinded in Washington. According to press reports, Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos offered a key position at the Department of Education to New Mexico's Secretary of Education Hanna Skandera, only to have to take back the offer after Senate Republicans balked because Skandera has supported the Common Core. This is a real missed opportunity because Skandera would have brought valuable experience in education policy to the department. It's also unfortunate that it seems the politics of Common Core still loom large in Washington, even though the issue has largely been settled in states. The department's loss is New Mexico's gain.
Thanks, Philip. In other news, a few weeks ago, you may recall our story on how the new Federal Communications Commission Chairman Ajit Pai undercut the FCC's planned expansion of home internet access to low-income families. Last week, more than 50 school district superintendents sent the FCC a letter asking it to reverse its decision, saying, quote, "High-quality home internet access is as essential to learning today as traditional textbooks were 30 years ago," end quote. It looks like Chairman Pai is taking yet another step to slow the expansion of broadband to low-income households. Instead of allowing providers to be licensed at the federal level, he wants providers to be licensed at the state level. In other words, instead of dealing with one bureaucracy, a company that wants to provide home internet access to low-income families nationwide would have to deal with 50 state bureaucracies. In response, Keith Kruger, CEO of the Consortium for School Networking, told the Wall Street Journal, quote, "It's going to hurt rural and smaller states because of the time and effort it takes to apply to 50 state public utility commissions," end quote.
Thanks, Nikki. One final note. In a previous episode of Federal Flash, we reported that Congress passed legislation to rescind the accountability regulation implementing ESSA. As expected, President Trump signed the legislation earlier this week. That's it for now. For an email alert when the next episode of Federal Flash is available, email us at alliance@allfored.org. Thanks for watching.
Federal Flash is the Alliance for Excellent Education's video series on important developments in education policy in Washington, D.C. in 5 minutes or less.